Buenas noches a todos, mi nombre es Patricia Ortiz, coordinadora del área cultural del Instituto Confucio de la Pontificia Universidad Católica del Perú. Les doy la bienvenida a nuestra tercera jornada de la Semana de la Cultura China 2022, cuyo tema central son las artes contemporáneas. Este año tenemos el gusto de organizar este evento en conjunto con el Instituto Confucio de Medellín, Colombia. Para quienes asisten por primera vez a una de nuestras actividades, el Instituto Confucio es un proyecto a nivel mundial del gobierno chino para difundir su lengua y cultura en todo el mundo. En esta oportunidad nos hemos unido dos institutos de América Latina que al mismo tiempo formamos parte de una gran red de más de 500 institutos a nivel mundial. Agradecemos a todas las personas que están conectadas esta noche a través de Zoom y a quienes también nos están viendo desde Facebook. Esta noche presentamos la actividad Ronjun conversa con Marissa Béjar, la actualidad de las artes escénicas chinas. Nick y Marissa son dos grandes amigos de nuestro instituto desde el 2016, año en el que asumimos la producción y puesta en escena de La Multitud, obra escrita por Nick y dirigida por Marissa. Después de 7 años, ellos se vuelven a encontrar hoy para contarnos sobre el teatro en China contemporánea. Como se ha anunciado, esta actividad se realizará en inglés. Y antes de empezar, me gustaría que veamos algunos pósters de obras de nuestro invitado Nick Rongjun. Gracias. Y para continuar, voy a presentar a Marissa. Marissa Béjar es directora escénica, investigadora y profesora asociada del Departamento de Artes Escénicas de la Pontificia Universidad Católica del Perú. Ha participado en diversas residencias y congresos artísticos académicos nacionales e internacionales. Ha recibido diversos premios por sus trabajos de dirección, entre ellos por su dirección de La Multitud, el premio Oficio Crítico a Mejor Dirección Drama 2016 y el premio a la producción artística Pro Art PUCP 2017. Y por su creación Un Ser en la Ciudad, Caminata Escénica, el premio Pro Art PUCP 2019. Entre sus áreas de interés están el trabajo artístico en el espacio público, la escenografía sonora y de los sentidos, la performance para sitio específico y espacios alternativos, y la creación escénica interdisciplinaria. Es Master of Arts in Media Studies por la New School University de la ciudad de Nueva York, universidad de la cual obtuvo también el diplomado posgrado en realización de cine. Es diplomada como actriz profesional por la Escuela de Teatro de la PUC y bachiller en Ciencias Sociales con mención en Sociología por la misma universidad. Bienvenida, Marissa.
Muchísimas gracias, Patricia. Muchas gracias por esta invitación. A partir de ahora voy a pasarme al idioma inglés para poder conversar con nuestro querido amigo Nick, a quien voy a presentar en este momento. So Nick, we have a very big welcome to you. Now we're switching to English. Patricia said earlier that the Confucius Institute of the Pontificia Universidad Católica del Perú considers you as one of the greatest friends they have. I myself consider you as one of my greatest friends. Besides one of my favorite playwrights, if I could say my favorite playwright in contemporary
writing. You're my friend.
So, yeah, I know.
Director.
Thank you so much. So to everyone who is joining us tonight, thank you so much. Welcome to this conversation between me and Nick. And as you see, it will be kind of informal and also very rewarding, I guess. I'm sure. So I am gonna present Nick right now for you to know him. So Nick Rongjun, oh my God! Now I need to present you, Nick, in Spanish because we have your bio in Spanish. So please let me read this in Spanish. Okay, so entonces esta va a ser la única vez que voy a volver a hablar en español en este momento. Les presentaré a Nick Rongjun, que es también conocido como, bueno, Nick, ¿no? Rongjun, doctor en artes y es el dramaturgo vivo más galardonado y producido de China. Es además director artístico del Centro de Artes Dramáticas de Shanghái, es vicepresidente del Grupo de Artes Escénicas de Shanghái, director del Festival Internacional de Comedia de Shanghái y del Festival ACT de Shanghái. Tiene alrededor de 80 obras de teatro, musicales, óperas producidas en China y en el extranjero, y incluyen estos trabajos títulos como Behind the Lie, Perfume, 1977, Captain, Das Kapital, The Insane Asylum Next to Heaven, The Crowd o La Multitud, que tuve el placer de dirigir en el año 2017, producida por el Instituto Confucio PUCP, House Guest y www.com. Son algunos de los títulos de las obras que Nick ha escrito. Sus escritos también han sido presentados y publicados en inglés, turco, español, alemán, japonés, italiano, hebreo y otros idiomas. Nick también ha traducido o adaptado también en otras ocasiones obras en idiomas extranjeros al chino que se han realizado en China y también en el extranjero. Ha escrito danza, teatro físico y guiones para cine y televisión. Como gerente del Centro de Artes Dramáticas de Shanghái, presentó más de 400 proyectos en 3 escenarios de Shanghái. Ha recibido becas del Consejo Cultural Asiático en 2004 y 2007 para realizar investigaciones sobre programas de intercambio cultural en los Estados Unidos y fue becario de la Residencia Internacional del Royal Court Theatre en 2008. Yo también tengo que aclarar que también fui becaria del Royal Court Theatre unos años antes que Nick estuvo. Recibió la 7ª beca en el programa ruso de la Fundación Likhachev del primer presidente de Rusia, Boris Yeltsin. También participó en IWP, que es el Programa Internacional de Escritura, en 2019. Bueno, switching to English, Nick, I read just a few lines about all your work. And I want the audience to know a little bit more about you in this conversation. So my first question, I wanted to know the audience that you began your personal studies in universities as a medical student. So I wanted to give you the opportunity to explain how did you switch to the arts. I have it pretty clear because we have talked a lot about this, but it's a very interesting case in how we gain a very prolific and great playwright that didn't think in being a playwright in the very beginning. So we would like to know a little bit about that beginning of yours?
Thank you, Marissa, and thank you, Patricia. And also thank you all you join us. I'm really happy to be here to talk with my favorite director, to talk about something contemporary theater about in China. Yeah, because my original training is the rehabilitation in the Shanghai Physical Education Institute. And after I graduate and I get a job in the hospital, but I quit my job and go to the theater. In fact, in the 1990s, in China, the theater is going down. Not many people go to theater. And because we have a lot of the TV series, we have the film from Hollywood into the China. The young people have a lot of chance to choose. So that is not their choice to go to the theater. But you know, in fact, that's the one night when I go to the Shanghai Dramatic Art Center. At that time, our theater name is the Shanghai People Arts Theater, and I go to this theater to watch a play, to watch Othello by Shakespeare. That is the one night that changed my whole life, because when I watch the play, I see what happened on the stage, and also I see what happened to the audience. That it is my first time to go to theater. So that is give me a new world. So when I work in the hospital, because almost all the patients, they are old people. They come to me and explain what happened to them. They are not happy, so I try to get them happy every day. So because you know, I get the job from Guangzhou, that is in the south of China. The local language I can understand. I speak Mandarin. In Shanghai, we have the Shanghainese. In the Guangdong, they have the Cantonese. That is absolutely different language. So when I talk to people, it's really difficult to me to talk with the old people. They cannot really to speak the Mandarin. So I think if I stayed in the hospital for all my life, maybe I will not be really happy. So I'm a happy guy. I want to be happy. So I quit my job and go back to Shanghai. And then I get the imagination in the theater. So I decided to go to the theater. And also at that time, the theater is have not many people. For our theater, 1 year, we only have the 4 or 5 plays. We really don't have the audience. So for me, it will be somewhat easy to go to the theater to get the job. That is happened in the 1995. Then as I stay in this theater until now. But you know, in fact, in China, for all the theater is changed from the 2000s. It absolutely changed. I will give you example. In fact, in our theater for this recently years, we produced about 50 to 60 productions a year, and we present more than 1,000 performances per year. So that compared to the 20 years ago, it's absolutely different. We got the more young audience go to theater, we got the more the audience. For our theater, we have about the 400,000 audience per year. So the theater changed, but for my experience, I all changed with the theater changed and the all years. So because I love theater, that for me is a dream. So I go to theater. I change my job from the hospital to the theater. Yeah, that is what happened for me
Oh,
in the
thank you
1995.
so much. Yes, you have all these many years in theater now, and so I have two questions that arise from what you just said. So the first one is, okay, you switch, but what from your medical experience and interest still is some kind of influence in your writing or in your producing? Is there something that you can still find that is like resonating? To put you an example, I have an undergraduate as an actor and also as a sociologist, and I never actually really dedicated my life to sociology, but I can feel that in everything that I do in theater, social sciences are good for me and something that is resonating all the time. I'm all the time thinking about the context, the cultural context of the place, the cultural situation and background of the characters. So I was wondering if you have all this formation in medicine that is something so important for humanity. Do you feel that part of what you experienced as a physician, as a physician, is influencing your writing or your view of theater, or has nothing to do at this point?
Yeah, because I was born from a small village in Anhui that we only have 5 families in the village. I never go out of the town, the county, until I go to the university in Shanghai. So I have all my 19 years, that is memory about what I happened in the small village, and then absolutely changed to go to the biggest city in China. So I when I went to theater and do some my first job is for almost like sell the tickets. But at that time, that is a really difficult job in all the theater because we don't have audience. But my job is to attract the audience, go to the theater. And also my theater give me 3 venues at the in 2000s. We have about 1,000 seats, and we needed to sell tickets every day, but we don't have audience, and we needed to do more than new plays. And then I watched almost all the performance in Shanghai at that time. At that time in Shanghai, not many performance per year. So when I watch this play, when I needed to attract the audience to go to the theater, and then me always think, maybe I can try to write something. Because at that time I'm young, I was young, so I think I can write something about the young people, what do they think, what do they like. So I write some plays, but I never think my play will be put on the stage. But in the 2000s in our theater, we don't have any plays. Nobody writes the play. They write the TV and the film and get money. And the people, the student graduate from the Shanghai Theatre Academy, they will go to the film, go to TV, they can get more money. But the theater is no audience, but it's really difficult. Not many people to go to the theater. So at that time, I have a chance to start to write something. And then when the theater needed the playwright, needed the play script, and I give my play script to the theater. And our theater said, okay, maybe we can try. And we tried my first play in the 2000s, then plays last winter. And this play, we gained 33 performance the first round, and we got a full house. That is really surprise the theater. So when I try to sell tickets, I know the audience want to what kind of play. I know the audience very well. So from the 4 months later, I give another play to our theater and we present again. We get the 44 performance full house. You know, at that time for our theater all year, we present about the 200 performance, but most of the performance happened in the school, in the university. We cannot really to sell the tickets, but two of my plays to sell the tickets very well. So at that time I said, okay, maybe I can try more, to write more. So until now, from the 2000s until now, I write about the 80 plays. Most of them about the 70 plays put on the stage. And I try to do some of the new different things. I write the dance theater, the physical theater, the dramatic theater. All these things is what I want to write. And in China, the theater go and get better and better. So they need more of the playwrights. So that also give me a chance. So I want to try more different things. For our theater is present about 50 play. My play have the premiere in our theater. So we also tried the new things. The physical theater we tried from the 2004. That is the first year in China for the first play about the physical theater happened in our theater. So during the last period, we do a lot of the new things because we get the more and more the young audience go to theater. So right now, when I write play, I know this play will attract what kind of audience. Will this play will what do they like or they don't like? I want to make them happy or I want to make them angry. I want to fight with the audience. So I can do a lot of the freedom for the theater for me. Because most of my play have the audience, so I can try to play with the audience. So that is a good thing for me. I know the audience. I like the audience. Audience always be the most important things for my writing. Yeah.
It's very interesting because you're saying that you write different, like saying genres of theater, right? So like physical theater or dance, even dance theater, and also you're talking about the audiences and how much you know your audiences and you know what are they in need now. So I was wondering, when you write for, let's say, physical theater, what kind of audience do you have in mind, or how do you begin this process of writing? What is the trigger of the center of what you write? Or probably is, if you do physical theater, is something that you work with a group, with a group of actors, dancers, right, that you rehearse and you probably take a look at what they are doing, and probably you're writing from the main rehearsal room? Or is it that you are thinking in a theme that is kind of appropriate, or you have an image of what you want to talk about with the body and the movement? So how does it work in the different kinds of writing that you do, with the audience in mind and also with the processes of writing?
Yeah, thank you. And maybe I will show a video clip, and then I will
Sure.
answer this question.
Perfect, perfect.
I will try.
Go ahead. I think they're gonna help you in, okay.
This play that I wrote last year, also presented in China. We have the tour of China. That is adapted from the traditional Chinese story, the butterfly lover. That is really famous, the story in China, and that is on stage for many times in the different styles. But they invited me to write for Agripart play. So for me, that is somewhat strange, you know, when we try to use the Agripart to tell the audience a story, how to do that. And so I will try to get the more, what is the special things for the Agripart play? What kind of skill they will do to use in the play, the skill and the arts and the imagination and the story, what kind of the connection between each other. So I talk with the director. I will rewrite this story, but the famous skill for this story, for this the whole show, is the actress will be danced ballet on the shoulder of the man. So that is really a connection with the shoulder, the feet and the shoulder. That like the butterfly is on the tree, these kind of things. So when I retell the story, or I also find the butterfly from tomb to a small box and then go out to become to the butterfly. This kind of the things is like the love between the man and the woman, because that yeah, that's difficult to tell the story right now. But I want to say is, when I write the physical theater, write the acrobat, the play, I write the dance theater, we have no language and how to put on the stage, how to write the play. I needed to get the things for audience to imagination, also to follow the special things for this kind of the arts. You know, I will give example. When I write I adapted the ballet Jane Eyre. When the curtain open, that is empty on the stage. That is have the showcase box on the stage, and that it was open from inside to open, and Jane Eyre come out. And then Jane Eyre take out the suitcase and start to go to the sunfield, the place. So that is just one things on the stage. But when I wrote the play script, I will describe all what happened on the stage, and then I will give the director and the dancer to training in the rehearsal room. But for all things, I understand is when I write anything, will be always audience. The audience will sit that's opposite me in my desk. I will know he or she like a lot. I will talk with him, she, and then I will write the play. The audience always will be in my brain. So that's why almost all my play to get the more audience. Yeah.
Yes, and now that I see the clip that you have shown us, you always work with a lot of imaginary. You have many images. I mean, like you are telling very essential things of the story, sometimes with no words. And it's very interesting that a playwright can acknowledge that, because usually playwrights are on, many playwrights really trust way too much in the text, in the lines. But I find that you, as a playwright, offer a director and also the performers, the actors, the dancers, right? the option of constructing from what you have imagined with their own bodies, right? It's like this is something that I felt that happened with the crowd when I directed it. It was a very fine text in terms of how the text I mean, what the text was saying, what was the story that was being told, but also the options that you gave the director, in my case myself, and the actors and actresses to perform characters like drop of rain or or you know the crawls or I don't know, it's like there's a piece of a little, like something that falls from the tree and that is a character. It's very interesting to think that you have all this imaginary in your mind, but also can tell a story very, very properly. You know, I wanted you to, I mean, I wanted to tell this to the audience so they can know a bit more about how do you write and also what do you offer as a playwright, right? To anyone who can, you know, have the challenge to direct one of your pieces. But I see also that there's you have very, very different like territories in which you move as a playwright, right? What about the musicals? Because when I visited Shanghai, I saw that musicals were very, very important in Chinese stage. And last week that we were talking, you were telling me that many things have changed with the pandemic in terms of what the audiences like to see now. And you were talking about musicals especially. So I wanted you to have a moment to explain us how is the musical scene going on in China, and also why is it so important? If we think even that musicals come from the West, right? So from Western theater, it's kind of a theater genre, right? So even though you have your own music and very cultural operas, but how this Western musical is becoming or has become so important that people is so fond of musicals in China. I wanted you to tell us a bit more about it.
You have several questions at the same time. Maybe I will try from one to another. First, you know, in fact, when I tried, I read a play, and I will try the different things. Some of the play I will use the people tell the story is very traditional, and in fact, I wrote a play on the plane when I go to Lima, and also when I back from Lima to Shanghai. I have most of the more than 3 or 4 days on the plane, and I write a play. The play is the house guest, and that play is really popular here. I wrote it for the 3 actors. They are really old, more than 70 years old, but because they are really good actors, and I wrote the play for them, so that is become a hit in China. That is for the theater in the past 4 years. So I will try some traditional, some the new one, some the physical, and in the past several years, I want to try to write the play, some like the crowd, and you know, in fact, the crowd is the first play I wrote like this kind of style, use the physical, the storytelling, and the actor the performers can do anything on the stage. They can perform a grass, a tree, or nothing on the stage. So this kind of play, we need the good directors. That's always a challenge for the director. But I'm really happy to have the, when I do the Chinese vision, I have a really good director from Hong Kong. But when I do the Spanish, I'm lucky to have you to do this play. I love it. So when I try to collaboration with the directors, that is really important. Sometimes when I write the play, I always want to challenge the theater director. I want to give some the problem to them. If they solve that, there will be a really good things. If they cannot, they'll be okay. But I want to challenge the director. But for example, in fact, in the past several years, some director for me, when I wrote the play, it's difficult for him, and he will change my play. And then, okay, but sometimes when I wrote the play to the director, and we can to go higher and higher together. So the play, that is only the first the things. The second things for director and actors are really, really important. So I will give another video clip about the crowd in the Chinese and the Spanish vision. I will to show you, the different things. Okay.
Go ahead. Great. Great.
I will do that quickly.
Camino más allá del baño.
2014, julio, medianoche, Hong Kong, hotel, afuera, lloviendo a cántaros. Un relámpago cruza la ventana y se mete al cuarto. Las sábanas blancas están excepcionalmente funestas. Y envuelto en esas sábanas, Wang Kuo-chin se revuelve y da vueltas. La cama está crujiendo a punto de caerse a pedazos. Retumba un trueno. Chocoteo. Rechinido. Chocoteo. Rechinido. Chocoteo. Rechinido. Wang Cochin se levanta de un salto, se quita las sábanas de un tirón, respira agitadamente.
Estoy de pie, en el piso, desnudo, jadeando. El reloj marca la 1 AM. En el espejo puedo ver un hombre. No logro distinguirlo bien. Está desnudo. Tierra, solo manchas de hierbas porque el agua se estancó.
No hay nada.
Anoche estuvieron disparando las armas desde el arsenal que fabrica cañones.
Anoche estuvieron disparando las armas desde el arsenal que fabrica cañones.
Anoche estuvieron disparando las armas desde el arsenal que fabrica cañones.
Eso paró al amanecer.
El sol es venenoso. La arena es abrasadora.
El joven camina descalzo. La bien de arena.
Gracias
¿De qué?
por casarte conmigo.
Entonces yo también tengo que agradecerte por casarte conmigo.
Te prometo que voy a ser un buen esposo y un buen padre. Juan Cuchín mira a su esposa y en la dichosa felicidad de su gesto se pueden apreciar señales de dudas.
¿Cuál es el problema?
Soy un hombre en búsqueda de venganza.
Una venganza.
Por el asesinato de mi madre. La tengo que vengar, cueste lo que cueste.
Sus ojos están llenos de odio. No puedo dejar de estremecerme. Ya veo.
Yeah. You know, I love this play because you have a really good direct for this theater. So, you know, when I write play, I almost to collaboration with, I don't know how many theater directors, but I think the director is really important to me. So when you write something that you need to director and the performers that to show in a different way on the stage, but when you show the two, that is one play, but in Chinese version and the Spanish version, they are really different. But also that something is really same. You know, when they use the musical. Well, in China we also use a piano that is do all the voice and music. So something I think the director will be changed something, but they use their different style and the experience to explore for more. So I think that will be for me. I think is really lucky. Another questions you asked is about the musical in Shanghai. In fact, after the pandemic in Shanghai, that is for the theater is really changed. The change to have some different way. In fact, the audience also changed. The young audience for the young generation come out. They used to watch the video on the phone and online. They also want to explore, to express themselves on in the different way. They want to communicate, and when the people stand at home for a long time, so they want to make friends. So they're also really valuable to go to the theater. So after 2020 in Shanghai, we have absolutely changed is we have more and more musical come out. Because for the musical from outside, from Western style, they cannot go into the China. but we can to do the new writing. And also the stand-up comedy is become popular, but all this center is happening in Shanghai. I give example, in fact, in the 2021, in Shanghai per year, we have 148 new, not new, the musical happening in Shanghai. But in fact, 3 years ago, I cannot imagine that happen, but it suddenly happened. Also, we have the audience. The audience want to go to theater. The theater attract the young audience. Also, the stand-up comedy is become more and more popular, and that because of the audience change, they're happy it changed. And also we do some the online the show online, and we attract more audience because they fit the audience, the young audience. So that's why, yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for showing these two versions of the crowd, versions in directing and in places where they were directed. Thank you so much for showing the parts of the play that we did here with the Confucius Institute, and I am very moved about it because I now quite remember all the questions that we made ourselves regarding this, and before we pass to another theme of our conversation, I wanted to tell you that when a good theater piece is written, it doesn't matter where is it done or where is it shown, because it talks to humanity in general. And so a play that talked a lot about China in the Cultural Revolution and the years after, it's very interesting how much it talked to us as Peruvians, and how could we relate to human processes and human tragedies and things that are linked to society and linked to moments in history of a country. And if you think about it, in every country we can find a similar moment. It's not exactly what happened in other countries, right? In our country, in other countries, very particular, but all these processes, historical processes, that finally talk about how they affect a single human being, right? You can relate to that human being, whether you are Chinese, Peruvian, European, African, wherever it happens. So that's what I consider a great piece of theater writing, right? That can be shown in other countries or even in other times and still talks to you as part of humanity. You can relate to another human being, even though it's so far away from you, right? And the other thing about the crowd is the challenge it is, and the challenge, and then the joy, also the joy that brings to a director and also to a cast of actors. Because at first it's like, how are we gonna make this tree a character, or how are we gonna make the grass be a character, right? And then once you liberate yourself of, well, this is theater, this is not reality, you can do whatever you want, and you can solve it. If you can solve the puzzle, right? It's a puzzle, and you have to solve it with theatrical tools, right? Movement, use of a space, right? And I can say that my cast was super happy and we're enjoying all the rehearsals and all the shows. And also I can tell from the clip that you just shown, from the Shanghai proposal, right? The crowd in the Shanghai production, how the actors are so connected as well, and they're so intense, and they're playing a lot. So that's something that you as a playwright offer as a like the column, right? That is the center of what you need to do. So it's a pleasure. Not every writer or really playwright offers you those chances. Sometimes it's the parameters are very short, and so it's very interesting. And thank you for showing those clips. So I'm very interested about this situation new in China, about the pandemic, how it changed avid theater goers to go and see theater plays. But does it happen only in Shanghai because it's such a cosmopolitan city, or is it happening also in other big cities in China? Do you know a bit more about it? I'm sure you do.
Okay, I will give another click, the last click, and then I will, last click, we need to share the, first. Yeah, that is last video clip. In fact, that is I adapt from the traditional, almost the famous Chinese traditional story, and we do this play on the stage is about 6 hours. And we have the tour right now in all of China. That is the most, for our theater, is the biggest production and the tour in China. But because of the pandemic, that sometimes we will cancel the play. Sometimes we needed to change suddenly. And in China, the theaters get better and better compared to the 20 years ago, and compared to the 2 years ago, and also changed. We have the new writing, that the original new play, the theater happened in China. In China, because we have the not only in Shanghai, in Beijing, the big city, but in the second level city, that also they get more and more audience, and also the more and more theater groups come out. The young audience, they want to go to the theater. Because, for example, right now in our theater in Shanghai, every day we have the 3 shows in our theater. But we only have the 75% audience by the law. But I think in the future will be getting better and better. And many of the plays, they adapt from the novel. And for the new generation, for the director and the playwright, they also come out. So I think the theater in China will be getting better, and also go to the small cities, even to the county. and more the theater festival that come out also, some like the Wooden Festival and the Arena Festival. Yeah, that is, I think that is the situation. But also because the dramatic theater in China will come from the Western country, from the Westerns. So, but when in China, the Western and the Eastern will always mix each other. We not only think this is from the Western, this is from East. I think that is when we do a play, when I write a play, I only to say how to attract the audience, how to explain myself, and all the actor and the director and the playwright, we will to do a job in the rehearsal room and then lead the audience to somewhere. I don't know somewhere is somewhere, but I know somewhere is there. So when we do the play, I always think is a risk, but this kind of risk is really attracting me. So when I write play and we do a play, as a playwright or the producer, I always want to do risk. The risk is lead me to somewhere. I think this is really important to me. Yeah.
I agree. If you don't risk, you don't gain. You gain very little if you don't really risk. When you risk, you can lose a lot as well. But
yeah, but also when we do risk, we explore more.
Yeah, if you risk and you work very, hard for something to happen, then I think you gain a lot. So we have a question from Facebook, right, Patty, here? So I should translate to Nick, but actually he's been addressing this question. Still, I'm gonna read it. Someone, a person who is watching us in Facebook is asking, he's saying that theater in Peru was very, very harmed and affected during the pandemic. And I can explain a little bit more about it because of course, everything was shut down. We weren't allowed to be together with people. So theater was like one of the first arts to, practically be completely mute and shut. But I also have to say that as you mentioned as well, we did in many contexts, we did theater through Zoom, what we can call theater, and theater people was trying to keep moving, and that was a very interesting time for us. But the question is, so, ¿qué impacto tiene hoy el teatro en China? So I interpret this as what is the impact of the pandemic in Chinese theater. But I think you've been addressing this in what you just said, but we can probably amplify a little bit your answer in terms of if there's I'm curious if there's other kind of writing emerging from the pandemic times with other issues, other themes, or and also I mean you are such a great playwright, but are there other playwrights that are so consistent in their careers and writing, or are there emerging playwrights now that are interesting? And also, okay, so that's the first question. We can address this one and then read the next one because they are sending me the questions in turn. Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, in fact, the pandemic is influenced the theater is very, very deeply in China, especially for some the independent company, because they have don't have money, so don't have sport, they will shut down. Because in China, they have the different period for the pandemic. In the first that happened in Wuhan, that maybe attract all the countries about 1.5 months, and they finished. And China is open, is as normal. But this year, that happened again. For example, in Shanghai, we will be closed and home for more than 2 or 3 months. That is a really hard time for us. But for our theater, we can to do the rehearsal online. We prepare for the future, but we have more than 30 plays canceled. That is really hurt. But during the period of the pandemic, there are also some the new writing for the pandemic to think about that. Many, but most of the production, they just to show what happened and have the memory for that. But I don't agree with that, because I think the people that don't want to go to theater just to remember what happened, to show we must do something. No, I think that is not the way for the theater. I think that for the theater is after such a big things happened to hurt the many people, influence all the world. We needed to think why it happened, and then what kind of things they get us to think about the future. In the future, we can to avoid this kind of things happen again. We need to think about this kind of things. So for example, for me, I also write a play, Beyond the Words. The name, the Beyond the Words, is about what happened for the pandemic, but it's not really to show what happened in the pandemic. I do write a play about the people cannot to communicate right now. Even we have the internet, we have online, have the phone. The people become more and more lonely. So I think in fact, we have a saying said in China. We have saying said, a frog in the deep well. When the frog saw the sky, the only the kind of the whale. So we think when we have the internet, we have the online, and all the people under the whale will think, okay, the sky is really big. But the real thing is all the people under the wing, under the whale, they communicate, use the internet, they communicate so close, they all agree the sky is only this kind of small. I think that because of the technique, we get us to communicate more easier, but we lose a lot of things. We become more and more lonely. We make friends with the phone. So that is the problem. So I write a play about the people cannot communicate each other. That become from the couple, the wife and the husband. They cannot communicate until the end. All the people cannot communicate. So that play is named the Beyond the Words. Yeah.
Very interesting what you just said, because it's true, right? So the pandemic brought us so many pain, so much pain, and also so much loneliness for so many people, that just writing exactly about the pandemic is not something that people want to go and see, right? So yeah. So we have another question, and the question is from the people who is seeing us in Facebook, is in which other projects are you working right now currently? What are the projects that you are working at this time now? Yes.
Yeah, and this year I have maybe 5 new plays. That is and all the year. And right now in our theater, I adapt the play from a TV series. And just now you have the poster. And I adapt the play from a film. That is about the in the 1920s in China, when China tried to force to open and people tried to awakening. That is all the old generation that is we said is Wake Up. That is plays above them. Because last year we have a TV series is really popular in China. The young audience really like it. And I adapted it in play. We have the premiere in the coming November, but in the September we put on the stage and invite the audience to do what happens. I don't feel satisfied with that, so I'm trying to change the play script right now. Yeah.
So as usual, Nick is in many things at the same time, and it's good.
Oh yes, Dick.
I think we lost Marissa just for a few seconds.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Just, she's coming back already.
No.
Yeah, maybe she has some connection.
I am here again. I don't know what happened, but
Yes.
it behaved terribly. At least the internet let me do the whole thing. It's like, well, I was saying that we are very, very happy, Nick, that you join us today. I know Patty has a few last words to say, but before she moves on with the closing of our conversation, I have to tell you, I'm so happy to see you again. I am so happy that you know that you appreciated the work that we did here with the Confucius Institute in the Universidad Católica, and I'm sure we want to again work with you. It would be our great honor. So I think that is gonna have to happen next. Thank you so much for being here, Nick, and it's been my pleasure. And also thank you to the Confucius Institute for inviting me for this conversation with my friend Nick. Thank you, thank you. I think
Thank
Patty,
you, Marissa. I'm really happy to be here. And also I
yeah.
want to thank you all the people support this what happened. I also wish the pandemic is finished soon. And
Yes.
you can come to visit Shanghai.
I
Yeah.
will have to go.
Yeah.
I will have to go, and we have to make plans to do something again
Yeah.
together. Thank you so much. It's been really, really great to see you. So
Thank
Patty
you.
has a closing,
Yes.
words for this.
Finally, I also want to thank you, both of you, for this great evening, for this pleasant and interesting conversation. Thank you, Nick, for sharing with us so many aspects of your interesting, magnificent work, and for giving us an overview of the theater now in China. I think I talk for everybody. We hope to see some of your work very soon in Peru, if we don't go before to China to see a play. And also thank you, Marissa, for being here, for be part of this event, and for help us to share more about Chinese culture. Y muchas gracias a quienes nos han acompañado esta noche. Espero que hayan disfrutado la velada. No me quiero despedir sin antes invitarlos a las actividades que tenemos todavía el día de mañana, nuestro último día de la sesión de la Semana de la Cultura China. Tenemos dos actividades el día de mañana a las 12:30 en el Auditorio de Estudios Generales Letras en el campus de la PUCP. Tenemos nuestro conversatorio. Esta es una actividad presencial. Vamos a conversar nuestro conversatorio titulado Teatro Chino en Lima, el montaje de la multitud, de nuestro dramaturgo Nick Ronjun. Mañana vamos a estar conversando con Marissa y con dos actores del elenco, Víctor Prada y María Angélica Vega. Nos van a contar su experiencia como directora y actores de esta gran obra, que se montó en 2016. Y por la noche tenemos el conversatorio, la literatura china actual entre la tradición y las nuevas realidades, a cargo del doctor Sun Xintang. A las 8 de la noche, los registros están abiertos para todos, así que los esperamos para conocer más sobre el teatro y la literatura china. Nada, me despido, muchas gracias. Thank you very much, Nick. Thank you very much, Marissa. Muchas gracias y hasta mañana.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. We'll see you soon.
See you soon. Yes, see you soon, please. Hasta luego.